It is Memorial Day weekend. It is a period usually defined by reflection, quiet, and a collective pause from overseas conflict. Behind the scenes, high-stakes diplomacy between the U.S. and Iran was making visible progress. The core objective involved securing and neutralizing highly sensitive enriched uranium. Statements from President Trump on Truth Social indicated that these negotiations were trending toward a successful conclusion. The rhetoric suggested both nations were approaching a final agreement on the nuclear issue. With an officially recognized ongoing ceasefire in place, the public messaging created an expectation of de-escalation. That expectation fractured when breaking news reports from Reuters and Fox News began detailing major military activity. United States military forces had just carried out a series of sudden strikes on targets in southern Iran. The physical reality of launching missiles creates an immediate tension with the diplomatic status of an active ceasefire. This presents a central paradox. How can lethal military strikes and positive nuclear negotiations happen on the exact same day? The answer is found in the specific legal justification utilized by the United States. They designated these actions strictly as self-defense strikes. CENTCOM spokesperson Captain Tim Hawkins clarified that the military acted to protect American troops stationed in the region from immediate, localized threats. Intelligence identified two specific tactical threats. First, Iranian forces utilized small boats to actively emplace naval mines in the surrounding waters. Second, regional reconnaissance confirmed the activation of Iranian missile launch sites. U.S. forces executed these strikes as preemptive surgical operations, disabling specific hardware before it could be used against American personnel. Faster, more energetic pace. This logic informs CENTCOM's claim that they are maintaining restraint even while conducting bombing runs. In a civilian context, restraint implies total inaction. In military doctrine, it means applying the minimum amount of proportional force required to neutralize a specific danger. By destroying a boat actively laying mines, the military prevents a mass casualty event that would inevitably lead to a massive, unprovoked escalation. This graphic illustrates the gap between targeted defense and full-scale conflict. A localized strike resolves an immediate threat, keeping violence far below the threshold of formal war. Because the violence remains beneath that line, diplomats maintain the overarching ceasefire remains technically intact. A modern ceasefire is often a bureaucratic boundary, held together by carefully calculated, isolated acts of force, rather than total peace. This tactical activity in southern Iran directly impacts the broader strategic goal, the control of Iran's enriched uranium dust. The United States has issued a strict ultimatum regarding this material. It must either be transferred to the U.S. for destruction or destroyed in place under the direct observation of the Atomic Energy Commission. Executing strikes in southern Iran is a gamble. Any miscalculation that leads to unintended escalation could cause the Iranian government to abandon these delicate nuclear talks entirely. Securing the immediate physical safety of soldiers requires taking actions that threaten to derail the primary objective, the permanent removal of Iran's nuclear material. This is the current reality of diplomacy in volatile regions. Agreements are often drafted alongside active military friction. A ceasefire no longer implies an absence of conflict. Instead, it relies on lethal deterrence to prevent localized threats from becoming regional wars. The U.S. is managing a difficult balance, eliminating tactical missiles and mines today to ensure the strategic destruction of uranium tomorrow. In the current landscape, launching a missile is sometimes the specific tool required to maintain the status of a ceasefire.